I'm looking kind of like frazzled, but I'm not that frazzled. It's just because it was hot out. It's very humid here. It's very humid, and it's been raining all day, actually all week. So I just really got back from getting some stuff. So I want to show you some stuff first, and then we can talk about the week. We can have a little chat as we do. I have something kind of fun to show you. It's probably not fun for you, but it's like very fun for me. So I want you to partake in my fun. So ever since I used to watch this guy named Hayden. I think that's what his name was. Hadrian. But like, I don't know how I fell off like watching him. I think he's just started doing some lives, like live selling of his handbags, and he wasn't really doing like a lot of like show me around like thrift stores and stuff. I used to watch it all the time, and from him I learned that you can get in the clear glass section of a thrift store, you should always be looking for Waterford, or what's the other one, Tiffany's, and there's a different one. He used to like look for Mikasa, but I'm not really into Mikasa, so I would always look for Waterford, and I found a bunch of Waterford, and this is one of the Waterford vases. Do you guys remember one of the Waterford vases that I found at the bins? I think it's Waterford. Yep, Waterford. I see the little mark. So I have peonies in it right now. There's a couple that are not open. That's what they look like when they're not open. And then there's a couple that are, like when I shove my face into it, I can smell it. Some of the winter ones, the winter peony, you can't really smell it. So, hi Renee. Sorry, I have to ignore you for a minute. I wanted to show you the Waterford vase, but the stamp on the Waterford is always like really, really light. So I wanted to show you that. Waterford vase, because I wanted to show you, let's be real, I wanted to show you my peonies. They're like my favorite flower ever. But I found, dun dun dun, I found for the first time ever Tiffany's. Now I have not authenticated it, I just looked at it and I was like, oh, Tiffany & Company, that's so cool. So I found a little baby mini espresso, or that's what I think they are, a cup and saucer. So this is it. It's like fine bone china or something. I would show you the stamp, but anyways, it says fine bone china, Crown, Staffordshire, England, Tiffany & Co. And it's stamped with like a gold stamp. So I've never seen these before. I always thought that I would find like a vase or a vase. I think it's vase when it comes from Tiffany, isn't it? Vase. And I found their matching little saucer guy. So I'm gonna order some little espresso pods from Nespresso, and I don't even like espresso, but I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna drink it, and I have 2 of them, so whenever my guests come over, we can be fancy and have espressos together. So I wanted to show you that because that was the first time I've ever found like, I think, a legit Tiffany's piece from the thrift store, and I always look in the clear glass section just for Tiffany. I don't even like some of like their styles or whatever, but I was really excited. I just found that maybe about a half an hour ago. But today's Saturday, and you're like, Michelle, but you make Friday videos. Yes, I know. So I also went to Costco and I bought a big bag of these queso spicy things that I'm gonna eat with you. I ate plenty of them in the car, but I was like, they felt good. They felt good to eat. So I'm gonna have some more with you. This is really how I like eat my snacks. I put them in little clear glass Pyrex bowls. I have this like thing with being able to see my stuff. I don't own any plastic as far as like cups or bowls or forks or, oh my god, no. So always clear glass bowls with clear glass. We've got my mint and my basil. Let's see how it simmered while I was gone. I poured this a while ago. Yeah, good. So we got peonies down here. Oh, what else? I have to show you one little cutesy guy. My arrow for my MacBook, the right arrow, decided to break last night for whatever reason. And so I watched some YouTube tutorials about how to fix it. So I bought a replacement key thing. So this guy was $11 and a bit of my time. So I gotta fix that after, because right now my key is like, that's gonna bug me to no end. So yesterday I decided that I was going to film like toward the end of my day, and I'd had like the week from hell. Every single thing that I tried to do, like as far as like moving forward and as far as advancing on my goals, or just like anything that I was trying to do that like mattered at all, like I just kept failing. I found like every single way to fail. And so yesterday I was like in a very crummy mood because it was like cumulative like anger. I don't really get angry, but it was like a lot of failure. And I don't think that I'd been like back to back to back annoyance. Like I went to the doctors again and I got literally nowhere with my symptoms that I've had for years, and they took the same test that I had 2 years ago and it came back coincidentally with the same results that I was just fine. And I was like, what do I have to tell you in order to like do a different test, do something else? Like, anyways, so I was very upset that I was literally like screaming into a black hole of nothingness that's like, please help me. Felt very helpless. And then I had this thing where my paint in my apartment is super stupid for renters. The people that built this place, because it hasn't been built for too long. I think it was constructed in 2021 or something like that. So relatively new build, but like if I ever want to move out, it kind of has to like look pretty new. Like I can't just blame it on like previous tenants, right? Because it's new. So I need to know how to fix the scuff marks, or like if I put up paintings or something, you know, like I need to know how to like fix those little holes that I put in the wall after like filling them in and like making it look good, instead of like losing all of my deposit when I move out, right? It was like giving me kind of like anxiety about living in the place with like some scuffs. I've been living here for almost a year. So I found, I think 4 or 5, not even joking, over the course of a year, 4 or 5 different ways to not mix that color paint. I tried so many times. I think I tried twice. That's not really so many, but in my mind, if you're a millennial and you don't like to go talk to people and you can like relate to that, like going back to talk to the same person about the same problem once they've given you the wrong solution, it's kind of like annoying. So I talked to the person in the leasing office about the color, the paint color, to see if I could get one. They're like, oh sure, we'll give you that color. They gave me the white trim color and not that color. So the other day I like had a conniption. I made like a mountain out of a molehill, and then it turned to chaos, and suddenly I was looking at all the scuffs on my wall that I'd made over the course of the year since I've been here, and I was like, I need to fix them. Today's the day that I need to fix them, because I don't have enough going on with my life that I'm trying to solve things. I'm just going to take this project on and I'm going to ruin it so bad that I can't ignore the problem anymore. I can't live with the problem anymore. And what did I do? So like I got a color made at Home Depot using a chip, little pink chip. And they were very confident with their abilities to make this color, and the color match would be perfect. And I was very optimistic, too optimistic. And I slapped the color on and I put it over every single place in my apartment in like 5 different rooms. that I don't even have 5 different rooms. I don't think 5 different walls, let's say 5 different walls or 5 different areas in my apartment where there were scuff marks that were very obvious. And I plastered this on in a nice little way with like my touch-up kit that I bought. And I felt really smug about myself. And I'm like, I'm gonna fix this problem once and for all. And it felt like one of those things that I was checking off the list. Like I had this thing kind of like in the back of my mind being not checked off for like a year. Because when I went to go to the leasing office, they gave me the wrong paint. They gave me the paint for the trim and not the wall. So I obviously didn't go back to them, right? I didn't go back to them and be like, hey, you kind of didn't give me the right thing. I just stopped bothering them and tried to do it on my own. Well, that didn't work. So here I am slapping all this on and not like doing the normal thing that normal people do. And that would be to put it in a little teeny tiny area where you cannot see it. And you should see how well that matches. No, I put it everywhere. I literally put it everywhere. And I was overly optimistic, like I said. So I was like, maybe it's gonna dry better. No, when you first put it on, it should kind of already start to blend in, and then it should blend in pretty well when it's dry. It doesn't change a whole freaking shade overnight, Michelle, when it dries. And I was like kidding myself. So I had blotches of the wrong color paint on like 5 different parts of my wall, and I was like, wow, this is terrible. And I went from I can live with these scuff marks to like I have to fix this today, because now I've really ruined it for myself. I can't just like walk past these wall scuffs. Oh, by the way, they used flat paint. They used sprayed on, barely sprayed on, super thin layer of like yellowy beige flat paint. So I was like stacked against myself, you know, not screwing up the paint for a year. Like I've been pretty good with it, but it took like me babying it, you know, and like the parts where I had like high traffic, like I couldn't really help it. So anyways, all my problems were not solved. And I made a mountain out of a molehill, and suddenly I had to deal with it. And I was like, this sucks so bad. Why did I do this? I'm already kind of like in work grind mode. I haven't really gone on any dates. I haven't really matched with any new people. I have matched with a few and then I unmatched them. I'll tell you about them maybe later. But anyways, so like there's nothing in the pipeline and I'm just focusing on work, and I'm in grind mode, and I have a lot going on, but I've like, you know, organized it well enough that I do a little bit of everything every single day and I make progress. I don't need to add these like a freaking house project to my like list. But no, I didn't just add 1 house project. I added 2 house projects. I installed a Nest because I was too stupid to like learn how to program my thermostat that came with the apartment. I like didn't know how to do it. It was like constantly shutting off overnight and I would wake up hot. My solution was not to read the manual. My solution was to get a different one and install that myself. Watch some YouTube videos and install that myself. Dumb. I have the dumbest ideas and I'm the most ridiculous human alive sometimes. I make such problems for myself. So I went to Lowe's. I failed at the wall color. I went to Home Depot. I failed at the wall color. I painted the bathroom. 1 wall in the bathroom, one of the badly like mixed wall colors that they gave me, I think at Home Depot. I was like, is this passable if I just put it in the bathroom? It's not. It took me like hours just to do like 1 wall. I'm like not good at this. I don't know why I thought I needed to do this. This is what I mean by like, I am the most ridiculous person sometimes. Like it doesn't make sense what I do to myself. I don't just sit here and I assess how much free time in my brain do I have? 0, Michelle. You have negative amounts of free time. Okay, let's just add like 20 different projects that you don't need. I'm so dumb sometimes, but this is literally what I did, and it like contributed negatively to like my life because it stressed me out, because I have like an OCD problem where I need like things looking okay. And if they're like in chaos or like it's not good, it is aggravating to me and I can't do anything else. I have like a real problem. And I don't know why I do that, but I do that. So I created this problem with the walls, and I created this problem with the thermostat. Everything was going perfectly fine with the thermostat. I thought I installed it correctly with the Nest, and I was super excited that I could finally not have to get up out of my bed at night. I could just turn it on with my phone and turn it back off and not have to walk over back towards like the laundry to turn it off. I thought I was so freaking smart. Well, about a week later, it stops working, and I live in the South. It's really hot. It gets really humid. And it's like, I thought I had timed it correctly before like it was gonna start to get humid. For whatever reason, yesterday it stopped working. And I was like, what am I gonna do? I'm not like an electrician. Like, I think I installed this correctly. Like, I took pictures of like how to reinstall the old one if like I need to, when I need to like put it back. But like, I was like, oh my God, Michelle, you're just creating problems after problems trying to solve the problems. And it's like, you're not helping matters. You're like hurting things. So last night I just like gave up, and I was like, okay, if I installed the Nest incorrectly, just put the old one back in, turn on the AC, and you'll have a good time. You'll be at least cool in your apartment. And by that time, yesterday, I had found the correct, after like the fourth hardware store, I finally went to the correct hardware store to get the correct person to make me the correct paint color using the correct size paint chip. Pro tip, you need like a paint chip about that big in order to get the most accurate color match. And you're gonna want to go wall to wall with that color if you have like paint splotches like I did. If you have like a tiny bit of touch up, the thing that he told me was, if you just have touch up, when he makes the color or she makes the color for you, you can get it as like close to that color as possible. But what he did, because he was like really good at this, he said, I'm gonna give it to you about 5% lighter. Not that you'll ever need this, but maybe you're a renter too and you need to like fix stuff and you don't have the paint, like I didn't have the paint. You tried to get the paint, but it was impossible or whatever. You don't want to go bother your leasing office, whatever you want. You'll go get that paint and then you'll get it 5% lighter than the actual paint color, because it's gonna blend in easier. If he accidentally makes it darker or she makes it darker, then it's gonna stand out more. It's gonna blend in a little bit better, slightly lighter. So anyways, I have plenty of paint for the rest of everything, and I got that all done I think 2 nights ago. I stayed up until midnight rolling away on the walls, and I was like pretty proud of myself for finally like checking that box off. Next day was the AC didn't work. I installed the original thermostat and it still didn't work, and I was like, at least I can now ask maintenance to fix whatever's wrong and just pretend that I didn't do anything, right? So this morning they came and fixed it. All they had to do was like refill something. It was like a super quick, easy fix. It wasn't even electrical, so I was pretty happy that it didn't like ruin stuff. Something was just not full or something. I didn't look. But it was an easy fix. But I went from having like a super bad week. I tried like a lot of these things, and I tried like a lot of stuff with like my health, and I was just like literally getting nowhere. And I think that's what I was like trying to say yesterday. I was like creating this video about like all my complaining, And I'm like, I don't really want to complain to you guys. You don't come to YouTube to like hear complaints. Like, I think you come to YouTube for like, you know, whatever you like as far as entertainment, right? So it might be entertaining to hear my little tales of woe, but like most of the thing is like you're trying to get something out of this, and I understand that, and I'm trying to give you something out of it at the same time. So yesterday's video was just like a wash. I was way too annoyed yesterday because I just had too many bad things going on. I just bit off more than I could chew. I couldn't leave well enough alone. And like my threshold of like what bothers me is so much lower than most people's. Like most people can like take like a lot of stuff going on. But like me, I need it, like, I don't know why I'm like this. And this is like I don't even know if it's a toxic trait, but it's like an annoyance. Like I'm annoyed by my own self. Like I need things to be kind of like in working order, or I need them to be like, it's okay if they're like fine. Like I don't need to like replace something that's fine, but or like once something has reached like peak performance or peak something, I don't need to find fault with it. But like when things are like not right and like they're not working well, like I just cannot leave well enough alone. Like even if I can't handle it mentally, I will still add it to my agenda to handle. And that's so annoying for myself, because it's like I wish I could just kind of like say to myself, well, Michelle, it's okay that the wall is scuffed up, because that doesn't really matter right now. You have plenty of time before you need to like, you know, really situate this problem. You're not moving out currently right now, right this moment, and you have plenty of time. You don't need to screw it all up for yourself and create a problem where you really do need to like do something about this, right? I don't know why I lived with the thermostat being how it was for like almost a year, and now I'm just like, oh, I can't be bothered to like get up out of bed to turn it off. Or like, you know, how nice would it be if I could just control it with my phone? How nice would it be if I just walked into my apartment and it was cool? Yeah, that'd be nice. But like, do I need to do that right now? No. But like I did anyways. Maybe I tried these things because I was like giving up my efforts on like finding like dates and stuff, because I just haven't been as thirsty lately when it comes to like going on dates or like trying to get that part of my life going. It's like actually exhausting. So maybe for the first time in a while since I moved here, like I wasn't really putting a ton of effort into that at all. Like nobody was really like exciting me, and I was like content with my other projects. So like I wasn't looking to be entertained. It was just like I was at a blah moment with dating. So maybe that's why. I don't really know, but like I decided that this week was the week of like doing all these things I didn't need to do, and then I had all this extra annoyance of like what happens when they fail. Like I don't know if there's like an equation, like a mental equation I can do. How much free space in my brain do I have if this fails? I'm almost at capacity all the time. So like the equation should not, I shouldn't really take on more stuff, but I just do. So anyways, not sure why I'm like that, but I am. My life has been pretty quiet, like since there's been like a mental shift of like what my strategy dating wise is. I think my dating strategy is going to include more long-term stuff. You and I have talked about you know, what it would look like if you're dating long-term things. Like, you would not tolerate certain stuff. Versus like, it doesn't really matter if you're not gonna spend a ton of time with these people. Like, it's just different. So I don't know, there's not been a lot of like hell yes people. I finally found like a pair of shoes that were like perfect. I finally stopped pretending that my feet were not wide. I ordered a nice pair of running shoes with a wide width. And unfortunately, they only had like 2 colors on their website, but I was like, you know what? I'm just sick of every single pair of shoes that I want. And they like never work. They like hurt my feet for like forever. And they give me blisters, and it takes so long for them to like widen out, right? So like, I want to just put on a pair of shoes, and I just want it to be comfortable and to like not feel like my feet are dying. So like, in sneakers, by the way, I understand if you're wearing high heels, that's a whole different animal. That's not supposed to be comfortable. It's for the fashion, not the comfort. So at the sneaker level, like, that shouldn't be your definition of a good shoe. Like, having to like make it work for you over a long period of time, when at first it like ruined your life because it made you have the sorest feet ever. I think of that in terms of people too. It's like, you know, when there's like a good fit, like, it shouldn't just be you have to get used to them for like such a long time and then they kind of grow on you. You should feel the right fit like very soon. It should be like intuitive. If it's like a good fit, it should feel like almost like easy, but in like the way that you like it, not because it's just easy. It should be something obvious to both of you that it's like a good fit. And I was thinking about that in the car, because I wore my wide shoes today for the first time after like ordering, I don't know, 2 other pair of shoes that didn't work out. And I was like, my gosh, like, feel like these shoes. From the first time I put them on, it feels like it fits like a glove. But like, I had to look in the right place, and I had to buy the right style for my foot, right? I had to like do some things. It wasn't just like off the shelf what everybody else could use, because what everybody else can use doesn't fit my needs. So I'm still involved in the process of getting the right fit. It's not like it just magically happened. I had to go search for that, right? So I think it's the same thing for people. Like, I've gotten to a point where I understand about myself certain things, and what would that look like in terms of finding another person that would complement my life and add to it in an interesting and nice way. I think I've got there. I just have to like spend time finding the hell yes people. And so far it hasn't really been like a good fit. So I'm walking around with good shoes finally, but no boyfriends, no husbands, none of that. Oh. I think it's okay that it's taken like a lot of time. I think I've like come to this point where I'm like ready to do like the long-term dating thing, because I like tried out like what it feels like for like the short term for a long time. I think I'm kind of like done with that for a little bit. I don't think I really like that really fulfills my needs anymore. I'm ready to like move on, and some things in my life have changed to like make it so that I can explore more of the long-term thing. and I'm ready for that, so that's exciting. So I think I don't have like massive like need to be as thirsty as I was, I guess, in that regard. So I'm more like chilled, and maybe that's why I'm like not so chilled with the other things that were like on my agenda or on my to-do list for like forever. I'm somewhat impulsive, like hence like the Nest. Like I'd never really even pined after the Nest, but like one night I was like, oh, I should get one, right? And then like all of a sudden I was like watching YouTube videos about how to install one myself. To be fair, I have some wiring and stuff that is pretty complicated, and because it's like a newer build, it's not just like simple 4 or 5 wires or whatever, 6 wires that normally comes in it. I had like 8 wires, and I have like a dual fuel system, and it's like more complicated, and it requires like a pro installer or something. I don't know. I never got a pro installer. I just kind of like did what I thought was right. And yeah, so it wasn't the most straightforward version of installing that. So I don't know why I needed to tell you that, except for the fact that I was willing to take on these weird projects that I had no idea what I was doing, but it like added to my stress when they like failed. I don't know how to like curb that lust of like trying to like sort things out, and I think that's good. Like it's good that I have like my level of complacency is like low. Like I don't sit here complacent, but like I need to use my time better and not just like make mountains out of molehills for like no freaking reason. Like I don't need to like have like a painting chaotic moment like in the middle of like trying to push forward with my other stuff. Like I don't need that. Like I don't anticipate it being chaos, but maybe I should. Like I should just tell myself, okay, one big major project that could potentially go wrong. Like I should ask myself before I start these things, if something goes wrong, do you have the mental space to handle it? That would be a better use of my time than just like pretending that nothing is gonna go wrong and just being fully optimistic. I need to be like a little bit more realistic when it comes to like what I'm doing with myself. Because I just think I have all these do-it-yourself skills, but really like I have a limit to what I know how to do myself, and then I have to involve other people, and then it just gets really annoying because I've like ultimately screwed stuff up, right? And then it ends up costing me so much money. It ends up costing me so much more time to fix it too. So I did that with my body. I think I mentioned last week or the week before, one of these previous videos, I mentioned that I had bought Anna's Wild Yam Cream without really having a confirmed diagnosis that I was deficient in progesterone, one of those hormones, starts with a P, progesterone, something like that. Anyways, progesterone cream. It was a cream that quote unquote helps your body to produce this over time naturally, instead of taking like a progesterone pill that is a synthetic version. This was marketed as over time this helps your body rid of excess of estrogen, and then it helps you create your own progesterone using your own naturally bodily functions. And then because you're producing progesterone on your own again, you will feel better. Well, I was in such desperation mode of trying to feel better from my symptoms that I've been like experiencing for so long, that I had it in my head from like social media. I had it in my head that I must be estrogen dominant. Everything was estrogen dominant. Everything was, your hormones are imbalanced, your blah, 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 blah. Everything, all these problems, the symptoms that I have all pointed to what the internet was telling me because I couldn't get any medical people to tell me what was wrong over the last 5 years of going to them. I just had to like self-diagnose or whatever, because that's what I do with my free time. I try to feel better. And so I got this cream that I thought was going to, again, solve all of my problems, but it created more problems. So for the last month or so, I'd been taking it to the T, meaning there is directions on how much you're supposed to take and when you're supposed to take it. And I would do it exactly. I did not willy-nilly. I like just took like a 1/4 teaspoon measuring spoon, made it level, and just put that amount of cream on my body in the places that they suggested twice a day. And then I upped it to the 1/2 a teaspoon. Anyways, I don't think that that was my problem, because I ended up feeling worse. And I didn't anticipate that. Like, I didn't ask myself when I first started taking this yam cream, hey Michelle, can you really handle if it goes badly? What are you gonna do if you get worse symptoms? If your symptoms are much worse than they are right now, can you handle that stress on your body? Can you handle that stress mentally? Because I just think that everything, like I don't know if I have magical thinking or what. Like, it sounds insane as I'm explaining it to you, but like when I find these solutions that seem plausible, because the whole internet is talking about them, and social media is like shoving them down your throat, as far as like, please go to a holistic doctor, put some yam cream on yourself. Like, I was like, okay, I'll do it. I will do it. And I did, and I had the worst time ever. I was so lethargic that I couldn't even leave my house for like 3 days. I couldn't go on walks. And I was just like not well. And like I'd been not well for like a while, but like I was functioning not well. This was like to the nth degree. And I couldn't really find anywhere online where it's like I have bad symptoms, or like my symptoms are getting worse from this stuff. I felt like all of the bad reviews for this yam cream were like scrubbed from the internet. Usually you can find like one little pocket of the internet that will say like the truth about something. And I'm like looking and looking and looking as I'm like getting these like really bad symptoms. I had lethargy like there was no tomorrow. I would wake up and I would feel like I need to go right back to bed. And I was like energy zero. My boobs hurt. Like I was having hormone fluctuations. Like my boobs hurt a lot when I first switched from birth control to the IUD. My boobs hurt a lot during that transition during the first couple of months, but I'd had the IUD in for like, I have a copper IUD, so it's non-hormonal. So my body is just like whatever my hormones are. I don't have any extra hormones. Eventually I got used to that and my hormones kind of did their thing, and I stopped getting that really strong symptom that I never got when I was on the pill. So that's how I knew that it was something different. Like I'd never experienced this. So I had sore boobs about maybe 10 days before I was supposed to get my period. And this is probably too much information for you, and like you probably don't even care. But this is like an example of like, I made a mountain out of a molehill again, and I am trying to fix things that are potentially maybe not even wrong. Like I thought this was a solution, but it was not. Like it's kind of like bad to like just do your own self-diagnosing. But like I can understand how I did, because I wasn't getting any medical help. And the medical help I was getting, they were just running the same tests that they kept wanting to run, or trying to give me the same medicine for something that didn't fix it the first time. It was like very frustrating. And so all of these symptoms were like, this is going to fix, this is what your problem is. And I was like, okay, I'll try it. But I didn't really think to myself, right, like there was nothing on the internet that said this is going to get worse for like 2 months and then just like power through it. The only time that I actually saw someone have very similar experience to me, when it heightens the symptoms of whatever you're experiencing, They said that they used it for 1 month. They used another jar for the second month, and the symptoms were worse. If I couldn't even get out of bed for 3 days, what was I gonna do on month 2? Like, no, get this crap out of my life. There is no way that I can just power through for like 3 months and just be out of commission for like all that time. Like, I need to do my life. Like, how do people get well if they're like unwell for like 3 months? That's horrible. That's a bad ratio of like sacrifice to like, you know, I'm not even sure if it's gonna actually cure my problem, fix my problem, you know, improve my symptoms at the 3-month mark. No, thank you. So I just stopped, and my symptoms went back to how they were before I started. And I started to be able to have like a decent normal amount of energy according to my own baseline. So that was another way that I like thought that I was doing the best for myself, but I really wasn't. And so when it came time to like assess what I was going to talk about yesterday for a Friday video, I was like, I don't have any good advice. All of my own advice that I've done for myself led me to so many problems that I didn't even need. I don't know. I don't even know what my positive spin on it yesterday was. Like, I was very annoyed at myself. The only good thing that came out of it was like, I now know how to wire something that I didn't know how to wire before. And I now know how to make a pretty good close match for any paint. And I have a solution before I have to move out for the paint color. And I'm not stressed at all that I'm going to lose my deposit because of the paint color. That's the only good thing that came out of what I did last week. I have a very strong tendency to like do the whole do-it-yourself thing, as you see. Instead of going to ask the leasing office for a 3rd or 4th time for like the correct color on the wall, I was like, well, I'll just do it myself. Instead of like getting help to install the nest correctly or whatever, or to make sure that it was installed correctly, I was like, nah, I'll just go and do it myself. There is a point in time where the do-it-yourself is good to have, but I think there's also a point in time where like I need to understand my capped level of, you know, my expertise on that stuff. And like, I'm totally like hands washed, like hands clean with the medical things. I am not a medical expert, so I need to stop doing that, or I'm gonna like end up like, you know, doing things that are like are not reversible. Right? I'm gonna like do stuff that's like really bad to myself just because I'm frustrated with my level of help that I'm getting. And it's like, well, Michelle, just switch up your tactic, right? So maybe that's like the lesson of the frustration of last week. I feel like there's always a silver lining and stuff like that. It's like, why was this so frustrating for me? Like, why did I end up like this? Why did I take on too much? Well, that's my personality, but why is that my personality? Why can't I divide the load amongst other people, right? Why do I always have the do it myself and to just rely on myself stuff? And like, that is good when it comes to certain things, but as you see, it also like makes me more stressed out when it doesn't work, when I don't have the skills in order to find a solution, right? So I think this is eye-opening for me because like I've never ran into something that I could not solve on my own, really, that I needed to keep asking for help. It's my tendency to like, okay, I'll ask for help a little bit, and then like once I don't get what I need, okay, the solution is not to ask better. The solution is to like, you know, eliminate them in terms of like the solution. Finding the solution would be to, you know, get better at it myself, take them out of the equation because they didn't give me what I needed. So like, I don't think I can do that. I think it's more nuanced than that when it comes to health stuff, when it comes to things that are way above my mental capacity. So I think I need to like have some humility and just be like, I am not good at this. I need to get better. I don't need to improve my do-it-yourself skills. I need to improve my communication skills when it comes to I'm not getting what I need from these people, and I need to solve that problem. Like when I finally went into the leasing office to get, like for the second time, to get the color or whatever, I was very specific. Instead of just being like, hi, I live in this apartment and I need some paint, I was like, hi, I live in this apartment. I got this colored paint on the trim, but it was the wrong color paint for the wall. I need the flat colored paint on the wall. I was very specific when I talked to them. When I went into the doctors the other day, and I was like, I would like to get my hormones tested. And then she kind of explained to me that she didn't do that and it wasn't really necessary. I was like, oh. And then after, I was like, well, who can test them for me? And then she was like, well, you know, if you did want to get them tested, here's where you go. But based upon the things that you were telling me about your regular cycle and about this, it doesn't seem that you would need, your hormones would be out of balance. So your symptoms that you're getting that are out of whack for like a really long time that you're explaining to me doesn't seem like your menstrual cycle or like your hormones are the reason for that, because indicators like such and such would lead me down the path that might be a possible explanation. And so it's like relying on their expertise, not like coming to them with my own theory, right? Like I'm so used to like, here's my idea, what can we do with that? And instead of just being like, just help me, right? Like I'm such like a problem solver. When I need them to solve my problem, I need to just be okay with giving them more responsibility in this. But it's scary for me to give them any sort of responsibility in this, because it's like they don't care that much. Like yes, they're doctors or whatever, or like they're people in the leasing office that like care to make me happy, but like case in point, her solution the second time was still wrong. She gave me a piece of paper that said this is the exact paint that you need when I went to the leasing office. And I was like, oh, thanks. I took that piece of paper to the paint store and I was like, here, can you scan this? Because she gave me a scanning thing. She's like, here's the paint that you need. And basically it was like scanning a bucket, a UPC code on a bucket of white paint. They use the white paint and they add the color to it to get the specific color on the wall. It starts with that white paint as a base. So she gave me the white paint, and it's like kind of like no crap. If you walked into like a place that sells chocolate milk, it also sells white milk, but in order to get the chocolate milk, you have to start with the white milk. And then I basically asked for the chocolate milk. Like I'm scanning the white base. That wasn't helpful. So this is why I have an aversion to like asking people. And it's like, I couldn't have asked any better. I couldn't have asked any better of like, I need this paint color. Like she thought that she was giving me her best solution, and she thought she was giving me what I was asking for. But when I walked into the paint place, they were like, you're just giving me the white base. Like, thanks. I already knew I was gonna have to use that white base, but I don't know how to make that beige. Like, what's the beige made out of? That's why I had to bring them the chip from the wall to like scan to the color. So it's like, I need to be responsible for certain elements that I don't know if I can give them in order to like lead them into the right direction when it comes to my health. But it's kind of like the shoe thing. I need to admit to myself that I need wide shoes, right? Like, and I'll finally have the perfect fit, right? Instead of ordering all these other shoes that don't fit and just like wasting my money, just ordering the right shoes and hoping for the best after I've done my own due diligence on the part of like getting to the right fit. I don't know if that really works as far as like a metaphor for everything, but have responsibility in parts of this, and then they have responsibility in parts of this. Like, the only good thing from like the leasing office, I got the brand of paint and I finally went to the right paint store. I wasn't from Home Depot and it wasn't from Lowe's, it was from Sherwin-Williams, and they finally fixed my problem and gave me a paint color that was almost perfect, just about perfect, and I finally could solve my problem in like a year. So I hope that things are like that. Like, I just have to do the right things for myself in order to allow people to help me the way that they can help me. And that's hard for me because it's like out of my control. And it's just frustrating when it comes back where like I don't know how to solve the problem. Like, luckily for me, like I didn't really have like it in me to like give up after the leasing office people gave me the wrong thing the second time, but I was given enough clues. It was like detective work at that point. I was given enough clues from them, and then I was given enough clues on how to get the best match from the Sherwin-Williams guys. Like, they're like, you need a bigger size paint chip in order for this to be the most accurate. Go back to your house and go get that and come back and we will make it for you. Right? I was given multiple inputs and then my own ability to just keep going with like the process, instead of like living with like paint splotches all over my wall, which is like, you know, not the best. So I think I need to do that, but in different things. I need to do that with dating. I need to do that with my health stuff and like all the little things, but it's hard for me to do because usually I just like am very independent and I don't really have to deal with outside people. It's getting really dark here. I think it's like, I don't know if it's gonna like, it always looks like a hurricane here. I always say that. It's only like 5:41, but it's getting really dark. So I don't know, I just feel like I keep repeating myself, but that was the big takeaway. And so I just wanted to kind of explain what the takeaway was from yesterday, instead of just like complaining about stuff. It's not really a video about complaining, it's a video about the process of understanding that I need to assess whether or not I can handle if this goes wrong. So maybe don't pick right now to do this thing. Maybe don't pick right now to fuck with this thing. Maybe just leave well enough alone for right now. Keep it on your list, but don't try to check it off right now. You can't handle it if it goes wrong. It's great if it's successful, but you don't need to be doing that right now. And then to just get better at the detective work of what I need to do in order to collaborate with people, how to lead them to the solution to my problem on my side, how to give them the best clues so that they can work with me in a way that helps me, not frustrates me. So that was my takeaway for this week. So I hope that you guys had a less frustrating week, but like you had some equally like cool, interesting developments in your own lives. And if you did, feel free to let me know about them. And I hope that you have a great weekend. And let's see, today's Saturday. And I will see you guys next Friday. So tomorrow is Sunday, and then Monday I'm gonna go get my, I'm going to go to the dentist, and we're gonna be starting Invisalign. So I will be showing you how my teeth are turning out. So I wanted to kind of show you how my skin is turning out. My skin is really, really good for just using tretinoin right now. So it's improved in the amount of pimples. I have only one. And I thought that was pretty good considering that today is my first day of my period. So before, you guys have seen, it was everywhere, even on adapalene for weeks. And so I've only been using tretinoin for weeks now, and I think that it's been really good. It's been really great for my results. So I'm finally getting done my skin problems, I think. I think we're finally over the hump of like having insecurity about that. Like, this is fine. So I'm ready to take on my teeth thing, and that's gonna be this whole new fun journey that's not so fun, but it's going to be a good journey, I hope, nonetheless. So that is happening on Monday, so that's exciting. I've been wanting it my whole life. Well, since I've like grown accustomed to these teeth that I have currently. So this is super exciting, and I think I have a lot going on, but like I always do, but that is what is happening right now with everything that I've been working on. So thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next week.